You think you have time. I can see it in the way you walk, the way you scroll through your phone, the way you push difficult thoughts to the back of your mind as if you can schedule them for a Tuesday next decade. You operate under the assumption that the man you are today is the man you will be forever, just with gray hair. You assume that aging is a gentle slope, a slow turning down of the volume. You are wrong. It is not a slope. It is a cliff, and you do not climb down it. You fall. I am 92 years old. I have lived through wars. I have built houses with my own two hands, and I have raised a family. I have been the strongest man in the room, and I have been the one they looked to for answers. Now, I am a ghost in a recliner. I am telling you this not to frighten you, but because no one told me. No one sat me down when I was 40 or 50 and explained what it truly means to inhabit a machine that is breaking down, day by day, part by rusted part. So, before you turn away to watch something that makes you laugh, sit with me. Give an old man 15 minutes of your time, because this is your future I am talking about. The first thing you must understand, really understand, is the betrayal of your own strength. I do not mean getting tired. I mean the humiliating realization that the physical world has become heavier than you are. I spent 40 years in construction. My hands were like iron. I could grip a hammer all day, carry lumber on my shoulder, lift my children toward the ceiling until they shrieked with joy. I took pride in that. A man takes pride in his utility, in his capacity to move the world. But now, the world resists me. It is a slow theft. It started with the jars. Then it was the lawnmower. Now, it is the button on my own shirt. There is a specific kind of shame in standing before a button, fumbling with fingers that feel like numb sausages, unable to perform a task a 3-year-old could master. My muscles have dissolved. It is not just that I am smaller, though I am. I have lost 3 inches of height, compressed by gravity like an old accordion. It is that I am hollow. When I try to stand from this chair, I have to bargain with my knees. I have to plan the momentum. I used to leap. Now, I negotiate. And the world sees this weakness. It sees a man who can no longer defend himself, no longer build, no longer fix. When you lose your strength, you lose the primary way you have defined your existence for decades. You become a passenger in your own life. Then comes the invisibility. This, I think, hits men harder than we like to admit. We spend our lives trying to be someone. We work for titles, for respect, for that nod of recognition when we walk into a hardware store or a bank. We want to be seen as capable. But somewhere around 75, the world stops seeing you. It is as if you are slowly fading out of the photograph. I walk down the street now, and people do not move for me. They walk right through the space I am occupying. If I stand at a counter, the clerk looks over my shoulder to the younger guy behind me. My voice, which used to command job sites, now seems to register at a frequency no one hears. I went to a town hall meeting last year. I wanted to speak about the new zoning laws, something I know about, something I spent my life working on. I stood up, I started to speak, and I saw their eyes glaze over. They didn't hear an expert, they just heard old man noise. They waited for me to finish so they could get back to the real conversation. To be dismissed while you are still standing there, to have your lifetime of experience treated as irrelevant nostalgia, cuts deeper than any physical pain. You become furniture, you become scenery. You are a relic of a time they don't care about anymore. And while the world ignores you, you are busy facing the third and perhaps darkest reality, the math of survival. You will outlive your world. If you are lucky enough to live to my age, you are cursed enough to watch everyone else leave. I have a specialized address book in my desk drawer. It is an artifact, leather-bound. I used to use a pen to write names in it. Now, I only use a pencil, or more often, a black marker to cross them out. My wife, Eleanor, has been gone for 8 years. 54 years of marriage, 54 years of having a witness to my life. When she died, half of my memory died with her. Who else remembers the trip we took to the coast in 1978? Who else remembers the name of that dog we had when the kids were babies? No one. Those memories are just smoke in my head now. But it isn't just the wife, it's the friends, the poker buddies, the guys I worked with, my brothers. I am the last one left of my platoon. Every time the phone rings late at night, I know what it is. I don't even have to answer to know that my circle has tightened again. There is a profound loneliness in being the last one. You feel like a sentinel standing guard over a kingdom that no longer exists. You have no one to say, remember when. You are stranded in the present, surrounded by people who only know you as an old man. Not as the boy who ran fast, not as the young man who danced, not as the father who worried. You are a book written in a language no one speaks anymore. And because you are alone, the fear sets in. The fourth reality is the terror of the floor. You might laugh at this. You might think it's just falling. But let me tell you, when you were 92, gravity is your mortal enemy. I fell 2 years ago. I tripped on a rug I've walked over 1,000 times. I went down, and I heard the snap of my hip before I even felt the pain. I lay there on the carpet for 2 hours because I couldn't reach the phone. 2 hours of staring at the dust bunnies under the sofa, realizing that I was completely helpless. That fall changed everything. Now, I walk with my eyes glued to the ground. I analyze every step. Is that pavement uneven? Is that step too high? Is there ice? The world becomes an obstacle course designed to break you, and the fear itself is a cage. I don't go out as much because I'm afraid of falling in public. I don't shower without a profound sense of anxiety. I used to climb scaffolding without a harness. Now I grip the safety rail in my bathroom until my knuckles turn white. You lose your confidence in your own equilibrium. You stop trusting your feet. And when a man stops trusting his own feet, he stops moving. He shrinks his world down to the few rooms where he feels safe. This shrinking world leads to the fifth harsh truth, the role reversal. This is the one that breaks your heart in slow motion. If you have children, you spend your life being their shield. You are the provider, the protector, the one with the answers. You fix their bikes, you pay their tuition, you bail them out of trouble. But slowly, imperceptibly, the power dynamic shifts. My son, David, is a good man. He loves me, but the way he talks to me now, it's the voice I used to use on him when he was 6. Dad, did you take your pills? Dad, you shouldn't be driving. Dad, let me handle the bank. He takes the keys from my hands, the keys that represent my freedom, and I have to let him. He sits in the doctor's office and talks about me while I am sitting right there, discussing my bladder and my bowels, as if I am a faulty car he is trying to keep running. It is a humiliation born of love, which makes it impossible to fight. You want to scream, I am still your father. I wiped your nose, but you can't, because he is right. You do need help. You have become the child, and surrendering your authority to the people you raised is a bitter, bitter pill to swallow. That leads directly to the sixth reality, the burden. Oh, we don't talk about this one. We smile and say, it's fine, but deep down, every old person knows the score. We know we are a weight on our families. I see the exhaustion in my daughter's eyes when she stops by after work to check on me. She has her own kids, her own job, her own stress. She doesn't need to be worrying about whether her father has eaten or if he's fallen again. I see her checking her watch. I see the mental calculation of how much my care costs. I spent my life trying to add value to the world, to be a net positive. Now, I am a drain. I consume resources. I consume time. I consume emotional energy. I sit here in this chair and wonder if their lives would be brighter, lighter, freer, if I were just to let go. It is a dark thought, but it is a constant companion. The fear that you are ruining the prime years of your children is lives, simply by refusing to die. You want to be the hero, but you are the anchor dragging them back. And then, there is the seventh reality, the mind, the traitor inside the skull. This is the one that wakes me up in a cold sweat. I can handle the bad knees, I can handle the hearing aids, but the fog is terrifying. I was an engineer. My mind was sharp, precise, mathematical. But last week, I stood in the middle of my kitchen holding a coffee cup, and for a full minute, I didn't know where I was. I didn't know whose house this was. It passed, it came back, but that minute of absolute void, that was a glimpse of hell. Every time I forget a word, every time I lose my glasses, I panic. Is this it? Is this the dementia coming for me? Is this the beginning of the long goodbye where I forget my son's face? I watched my brother go through that. He died screaming at people he loved because he thought they were strangers. I check my memory constantly, testing myself. What is the date? Who is the president? What did I have for breakfast? I am constantly auditing my own sanity, terrified that one day the audit will fail and I won't even know it. To lose your history is to lose your soul. And at 92, the eraser is always hovering over the page. The eighth reality is the night. Loneliness in the day is one thing. You can distract yourself. You can watch the birds. You can listen to the radio. But the night is vast. When the sun goes down, the silence in this house becomes heavy. It presses against my eardrums. I sit here and I listen to the refrigerator hum. I listen to the settling of the floorboards. There is no one to turn to and say, "Did you hear that?" There is no warm body next to me in the bed to anchor me to the world. I sleep in short bursts. I wake up at 3 a.m. and the darkness is absolute. The mind goes to dark places at 3 a.m. You replay every mistake you ever made. You think about the things you should have said to people who are now dead. The guilt comes out at night. The regret. The wish for just one more conversation with your wife. You realize that you are just a small, breathing thing in a vast, indifferent universe, and the silence is waiting to swallow you. The nights are so long now. They stretch out like an ocean you have to swim across every single time the sun goes down. And finally, the ninth reality, the preparation. You have to curate your own exit. I spend my days throwing things away. I am cleaning out the garage, the attic, the drawers. Not because I want to, but because I don't want my children to have to do it. I am deciding who gets my tools. I am writing down the passwords to my accounts. I am picking out the music for my own funeral. Think about that. Imagine sitting at your table drinking tea and choosing the song they will play while they lower your body into the ground. It is a surreal administrative task. You are managing the logistics of your own non-existence. I have signed the papers that say, "Do not resuscitate." I have looked a doctor in the eye and said, "If my heart stops, let it stop." To make that decision to actively choose not to fight goes against every survival instinct you have. But you do it. You do it because you have seen what happens when you don't. You do it to spare your family. You do it to keep a shred of dignity. You are walking toward the exit sign, and you are trying to make sure you don't trip on the way out. Those are the hard truths. The body breaks. The world looks away. The friends die. The fear takes root. The roles reverse. The burden grows. The mind slips. The night deepens. And the end must be planned. It sounds bleak, I know. It sounds like a tragedy. But listen to me now. Listen closely, because this is the part you won't expect. In the midst of all that loss, in the center of all that shrinkage, something else happens. Something quiet and strange and beautiful. When you stop fighting the current, when you finally accept that you are not the captain of the ship anymore, but just a passenger floating down the river, a profound peace settles over you. The ambition is gone. The need to impress is gone. The anger at the traffic, the worry about the stock market, the jealousy of the neighbor's new car, it all just evaporates. It doesn't matter anymore. And when the noise of the ego dies down, you start to hear the music of the world again. I sit on my porch now, and I watch the light filter through the leaves of the maple tree. And I don't just see a tree, I see a miracle. I see the way the light dances. I feel the wind on my cheek really. Feel it, and I am grateful just for the sensation of air against skin. My coffee in the morning tastes better than it ever did when I was rushing to work. The sound of my grandson's laughter over the phone is the sweetest symphony I have ever heard. Because the time is short, the moments become heavy with meaning. I don't waste time on nonsense anymore. If I love you, I tell you. I don't hold grudges. Who has the energy for grudges at 92? I have forgiven my enemies. I have forgiven myself. I have realized that most of the things I worried about for 50 years didn't matter at all. I have found that I am tougher than I thought. I have lost my strength, yes, but I have found my endurance. I am still here. I am still witnessing. I am the keeper of the stories. And even though I am invisible to the world, I am not invisible to myself. I look in the mirror and I see the history of a life etched into every wrinkle. I see the map of where I have been. So, my young friend, you, with your strong back and your busy schedule, do not fear this. Do not fear getting old. It is a privilege denied to many. But do not sleepwalk toward it. Call your father. Ask him about his life before you were born. Be patient with your grandfather when he tells the same story twice. He is just trying to make sure you remember him. Look people in the eye. Put down the phone. Touch the grass. Feel the sun. Because one day, you will be the one in the chair. You will be the one watching the dust motes dance in the afternoon light. And you will want to look back and say, I didn't just survive it, I lived it. I am tired now. The talking takes it out of me. I think I will rest my eyes for a moment. But I am glad we spoke. I am glad you saw me. And I hope, I truly hope, that when your winter comes, you find the warmth that I have found, right here in the quiet.